Good evening. Hello, everyone. My name is Sarah Burch. I'm a professor at the University of Waterloo. I hold a Canada Research Chair in Sustainability Governance and Innovation there. And for the last few years, I've also been serving as the Executive Director of the Waterloo Climate Institute. My sincere thanks to the Walrus and to Universities Canada for the invitation to speak this evening. I'm honored. My goal with our very short time together is to explore what I think are the remarkable ways that both the natural and the social sciences shape our understanding of what's changing around us so rapidly and what the future could look like. I'd like us to take a moment to reflect on what our role could be, or even should be, responding to the overwhelming challenge of global climate change with imagination, with inclusivity, and with insight. First, to set the stage a little bit, a word on what climate change is not. It is not a distant problem. It's not affecting other people who are not us. It's not affecting some other place that's not here. Here in Canada, it's become overwhelmingly clear that a cooler climate and robust resources such that we have won't allow us to escape unscathed. The wildfires of 2024 set records, and not in a good way. We racked up over $8 billion in insured losses, which was triple the record set just the year prior, and 12 times the average insured losses from 2001 to 2010. This is a curve that we don't want to be on. And the costs of doing not enough to tackle the root causes of climate change are becoming clear. It's also not simply an environmental challenge or purely a technical problem, while of course it is this as well. Climate change is a deeply human problem, and it doesn't affect us all equally. It directly impacts our ability to raise our children, to produce food, to work, to play, to flourish in our communities. It turns out that we actually have already most of the technologies that we need to reduce our greenhouse gas emissions at least by half. Which means that we need social scientists, economists, sociologists, political scientists, and others to help reveal why we can't seem to move faster, to choose between the solutions that each come with benefits and trade-offs, and to critically engage more deeply with communities to explore what matters to them. University-based climate change scientists and social scientists, such as myself, are shaping the way that the world responds to both the escalating consequences of climate change, like floods and wildfires and drought, as well as its causes, moving away from burning fossil fuels to limit the amount of greenhouse gases that we pump into the atmosphere. One way our work directly connects to tangible improvements with our communities is a bit opaque, but bear with me, I'll take you through it. So as we just saw in Belém in Brazil, you may have seen in the news, countries from around the world convene to try to agree on how fast to reduce greenhouse gas emissions, who should pay, of course, and how we protect communities through adaptation. This is a fraught and deeply political process, and it needs to be informed by the best available science. This is the job of the United Nations Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, the IPCC, and the only acronym that I will use tonight. The IPCC is a global team of scientists nominated by their home governments who aim to gather and synthesize the incredible science that's produced all over the world. This isn't a task that any one government, think tank, or university could possibly carry out. It requires scholars with different lived experiences, different skill sets to work together. For many years, I've worked as a lead author with the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, contributing my own and others' scholarship on energy transitions, city-scale climate solutions, and governance models that can accelerate progress. But why does this work of the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change matter so much? Setting aside the remarkable nature of this type of collaboration across geographies, across languages, across disciplines, the work of the IPCC directly informs the Paris Agreement, which is our global climate change treaty. It also trickles down in all sorts of ways to national, regional, and municipal climate change action plans around the world. IPCC reports are a primary input for at least 100 countries' climate change policies and planning processes. They are an essential and foundational reference for virtually all serious national, subnational climate change planning efforts. It's the evidence that a planner in Halifax can point to when they recommend restoring a wetland to protect the coast from storm erosion, or an engineer in Saskatoon can pull out when they propose the city's first large-scale solar farm. Crucially, the scientists who invest years working on an IPCC assessment are not paid or compensated by the United Nations at all. It's our home universities and the federal government here in Canada who invest in the research ecosystem that enables this kind of work. At the other end of the scale, at a much more deeply local scale, our team at the Waterloo Climate Institute, including Dr. Jose Dibella, Dr. Peter Crank, Simon Glauser, Dr. Susan Elliott, and others, partnered with the Southwestern Public Health Unit of Ontario to conduct an in-depth assessment of climate-related health risks and vulnerabilities in Oxford County, Elgin County, and the city of St. Thomas. The team uncovered a range of health impacts of climate change on local vulnerable populations and proposed a series of recommendations to improve climate resilience in the community. A key message was the need for partnership-led and community-informed tangible actions which can reduce risk and enhance the long-term capacity of vulnerable populations to adapt. So we went on to do just that. We opened a competition among our very excellent students at the University of Waterloo from architecture, engineering, planning, and other disciplines to design a modular and accessible cooling station that also offered a play area for kids, room to grow an edible garden, and escape intensifying heat. So rather than creating additional toolkits or guidance documents, we co-designed a community heat risk reduction solution that is replicable elsewhere. This work wouldn't have been possible without close collaboration among a human geographer and a climatologist and public health practitioners and governance experts, community groups, and students. Which brings me to my concluding thoughts. And I'd like to focus those on a broader reflection on the role of universities in society and the type of scholarship that's so desperately needed given the times that we live in. One of the most endearing and perhaps underappreciated qualities that I see in my colleagues is just simple curiosity. How does something work? Can we peel back the layers of something that sort of seems obvious to us and think deeply about other ways that it could be explained? In science, we have a particular approach to satisfying that curiosity: careful and serious thought, methodological rigor, collaboration, and of course, an openness to being surprised. Transparency around how science is done, how it's funded, and who it serves is a crucial ingredient of accountability and can ultimately build trust. This sort of critical thinking also spills over into how we move through the world as citizens, as leaders, and community members. It helps us confidently question answers that we're being given, from TikTok to the White House, and both understand and value expertise in its very many forms. Given the wicked problems that we're faced with today, from climate change to pandemics, it's essential that our universities, in my view, continue to nurture social as well as technical innovation, from fundamental exploratory research to applied research as well. On the climate front, perhaps what we need most is a new science of amplification, pulling together and methodically testing everything we know about how to spread, how to scale up, how to replicate and deepen the solutions that we know work. Finally, I would suggest that as scientists and scholars, there are a few frequently neglected qualities that require renewed commitment, specific training, and significantly enhanced support. While scientists are often rewarded, as you may know, for being the first, the fastest, the most prolific, the challenges we're grappling with today require a totally different set of capabilities. Climate change represents an enormous web of interconnected challenges. Community-engaged scholarship recognizes that there are diverse ways of knowing and complementary expertise among, for instance, Indigenous knowledge holders, practitioners, scientists, and others. To do this well, though, we need to build trust. We have to enter relationships with humility and develop research with social and environmental good as explicit, targeted outcomes. I'm enormously grateful for the research ecosystem that we've built here in Canada that allows us to ask these tough questions and also builds those connections around the world. It's through those connections that science enriches us all. Thank you.